So, the topic of the lecture today is human rights. International law was solely concerned with the states, as we all know. So, states were the subject matter of international law because that time it was required to bring peace and harmony between the existing states for them to coexist together in order to make this world a better place. Hence, post World War II, there was an urgent necessity to give certain basic rights to the existing individuals in order for them to live a life with full freedom and with dignity, and that is known as the basic human rights that every individual deserves to get under natural law as well, so that they can grow their personality to the fullest extent. So, also, human rights are moral principles or norms that describe certain standards of human behavior and is regularly protected in a lot of municipal laws, and in international law it has got consideration as well. So these rights are basically immunity against the government and which protects you against the government. So for example, human rights would have freedom from discrimination, right to life, liberty and security. Again, it will include freedom from torture, degrading treatment and also freedom from slavery. So these are the examples of basic human rights that we can get on an international level. So, as I just explained, Justice P.N. Bhagwati agrees with me pretty much, I think, because he has given the right definition. According to him, rights are essential for protection and maintenance of the dignity of the individual, and human beings can develop his personality to the fullest extent. So, this definition is very important for exam purpose. According to Justice D.D. Basu, these are the minimal rights which are given against the state. Moving ahead, Bennett describes such rights as immune from government interference. So now I'll quickly get into certain facts and figures where HR was first recognized in UN Charter 1945, which stated that HR is inalienable. Also, we all know that one fine day it wasn't realized that human rights should be into the picture, so it has got deep roots where it evolved from. So we can see the philosophical concepts of human rights in natural law, the Babylonian king, Hammurabi, Assyrian laws, and also the concept of dharma in all the Vedas that we read. So the origin of concept of human rights can be found actually in doctrine of Stoicism. This is important. So the doctrine of Stoicism says that there is a universal force that prevails on all the creation of the humankind, and that is natural. So the human conduct should also be judged on the basis of law of nature, because we are a force of nature. Hence, we should be judged according to the natural laws. So this is basically doctrine of Stoicism, which was the first leading doctrine of human rights. Then Magna Carta 1215 introduced the concept in response to the heavy taxation burden that they were going through, and also it was a protection against the elite class. And the first one to term the coin human right was Thomas Paine when he translated the French Declaration of Human Rights of Man and Citizen. Is something that we should remember for exam purpose. So that was how the concept of human rights came into the picture. Now we'll get into international human rights law, as in how did the law evolve for human rights. So as we all know that Covenant of League of Nations was quite silent about the issues of HR, but it pledged to protect minority rights. So minority right was the basic was a stepping stone towards the protection of human rights. Then in 1941, the Proclamation of Rights of Man was issued by Franklin Roosevelt. Then the proclamation spoke about basic rights, that is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from want and freedom from fear. That was considered as the beginning of the human rights law. Then came the Moscow Conference, which was signed on 30th October 1943, where all the Allied powers pledged to fight against the Axis powers if any inhuman treatment was done from the Axis power side, and also that Germans shall be responsible for violation of international law. Then came the Nuremberg Charter, which raised the issue of individual accountability during the war crimes and crime against humanity. Then came San Francisco Conference, and then finally, we have UN Charter, which contains certain provisions for the promotion of human rights. Let me remind you, it was all about promoting human rights, and by this time, we don't have any laws or anything which will protect or legally oblige all the states together. So, the prime responsibility for the promotion of human rights under the UN Charter was given to General Assembly, Economic and Social Council, and Commission of Human Rights. So, as we all know, this commission is very important for the protection of human rights or in order to claim human rights. So, this is United Nations Commission on Human Rights, which was established in 1948, and then this was composed of 18 members, and now it has got 53 members. So in the first session, the Commission on Human Rights established a sub-commission on number 1. First was to prevention of discrimination and protection of minorities, and second was the drafting committee for the preparation of draft. So first one just dealt with the minorities, and second one was to prepare a draft of International Bill of Rights. Then the very important thing happened, that is replacement of Human Rights Commission. This particular commission was replaced by Human Rights Council on 15th March 2006. I want you all to remember this date because it usually comes in the exam. So the idea of protection for human rights and fundamental freedom was first talked about in the Atlantic Charter and also the Declaration of UN. Hence, Article 55 of UN is important here. So, the principle of universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, and religion was important principle that was adopted by United Nations. So, when this principle was adopted by UN, this a major task was given to ECOSOC for appointment of a committee which will draw up simultaneously two sets of documents. Number 1 would be Declaration on General Principles of HR, which will just determine what are the principles on which human rights should be based on, and the second document will contain all the specific rights which would lend themselves to be binding legal as a legal obligation. So then came the International Bill of Human Rights. So the Bill of Rights consists of 6 documents. Number 1 would be UDHR. Second is International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Third is International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. Fourth is the Optional Protocol for Civil and Political Rights. Fifth is Optional Protocol for Civil and Political Rights aiming an abolition of death penalty, which was taken very seriously. Then Optional Protocol for Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. So these documents together formed International Bill of Human Rights, and UDHR was adopted finally on 1948. So this declaration consists of preamble plus 30 articles. Now 30 articles is further subdivided into 21 civil and political rights and 6 economic and social rights. So now, as I just mentioned, the civil and political rights, it is from Article 3 to Article 21, amongst which I think I'll point out the important ones, where Article 4 deals with freedom from slavery or servitude. Article 3 is about right to life, liberty and security of person. Article 6 gives recognition as a person before the law. Article 7 is equality before the law and equal protection of the law without any discrimination. Article 9 talks about the freedom from arbitrary arrest, detention or exile. Article 11.1 is a very famous proven principle which talks about presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Next, I would like to talk about Article 12, which is right to privacy, family, home and correspondence. Then is Article 15, right to nationality. Article 17, right to own property. Article 19, which deals with right to freedom of opinion and expression. Article 20, which is right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Then we come to economic and social rights, which is mentioned from Article 22 to 47. So Article 22 deals with right to social security. Article 25 talks about right to standard of living adequate and for health of himself and his family. Article 26 is important here, which talks about right to education. Article 27 is right to participate in cultural life. And Article 28 deals with right to good social and international order. So this is pretty much it. I tried to sum up how human rights came to came into evolution, and then how laws were taken from where, and then the document on International Bill of Human Rights, and then finally we read certain important provisions from UDHR. Now time for some question. So question number 1 would be, replacement of Human Rights Commission by Human Rights Council was done on number 1 15th March, B is 11th March 2007, C 2nd Jan 2006, D 16th March 2006. An answer for this would be 15th March 2006. Second question is, Article 17 of UDHR deals with what? A. Right to own property. B. Right to leave any country, including his own, and return to his country. C. Right to seek and enjoy in other countries asylum. D. Right to nationality. An answer for this would be right to own property, that is A.